Good morning. You are watching Beyond Headlines of Freedom Square TV. We are, as usual, reaching you from our Enugu studios. Of course, Enugu is the southeast part of Nigeria. Today, our focus is actually on party politics, power realignment, and the future of opposition and governance in Enugu State. As we look at the topic, the future of the People Democratic Party, PDP, in Enugu State. For over 2 decades and counting, the PDP has remained a dominant political force in Enugu State, producing governors, senators, members of the House of Representatives, council chairmen, and controlling party structures. However, the large political landscape is changing and changing very fast. New alliances are emerging, voter expectations are evolving, and internal party democracy is increasingly under scrutiny. The big question, therefore, is not just where PDP has been, but where PDP is going, especially in Enugu State. To help us examine this important subject, we have a key actor, a key player in the Enugu PDP political structure. He's already in the studio. He's the Enugu State Chairman of the People Democratic Party, PDP. He's a public affairs commentator. He's an analyst, and he's Barrister Steve Aurora. Barrister, good morning, and welcome to Beyond Headlines.
A very good morning to the Prof.
This probably addressing me. I don't to be a prof. Okay, Barrister Aurora, let's begin with the context. The PDP Enugu State the PDP has governed Enugu State for almost the Fourth Republic, from the era of Chimaroke Ogbonne and Namani, the man of the Ebano, to subsequent administrations. The party has maintained a strong grip on political power in Enugu State. From your perspective as a state chairman, what factors have sustained PDP's dominance in Enugu State over the years?
Well, like rightly alluded to the fact that PDP has made itself an impregnable fortress in Enugu. Enugu appears to be the irresistible home of the PDP as far as the Southeast is concerned. From 1998 to 1999, the leadership of Chief Jim Wobodo towered above his peers in the Southeast. And then came a certain Chimaroke Nemani who created a renaissance of hope for the Wawa people. He showed, astute leadership, or showed, towering power in terms of resilience and perseverance in the face of adversity. Remember, it was a nascent democracy. And he was able to establish his stronghold and build, strong characters, including your own self, in the emergence of our democracy. So with that, Enugu, became very accustomed to PDP, almost synonymous as the only party that they could reckon with. And as a matter of fact, from season to season, regime to regime, PDP won every election before it. The quality of election we had also offered our people, could also be contested in the sense that, our democracy is evolving and we could see a lot of anomalies in terms of the brand of results we get in our elections. But beyond the facade of that lies the fact that the people of Enugu embraced PDP. Never mind the outcome of election in terms of volume of figures or being bandied about. It was about total acceptance by the people. And like I said, the Chimaroke regime resonated a lot with the yearnings of the masses in terms of providing support and in terms of showing empathy to the public. And then came a certain Soliman Chime, who also tried to recreate the environment to build Enugu just like the wall of Jericho. He built Enugu to standard and left a lot of flashes of quality infrastructure development in the city. Also came the time of Fine. As a matter of fact, PDP stood very firm and made sure they captured Enugu as a whole. And even when the tsunami came in the very last general election, now, of course, almost dismantled all structures in politics, save for arguments that the final outcomes in several places we are not the will of the masses. PDP stood firm in Enugu and managed to also provide and produce a governor for the people. Today, under the watch of the PDP, the Governor Mbah administration has performed excellently well. He has left legacies, monuments, and rejuvenated all moribund infrastructure and companies that the old Eastern Nigeria could proudly, boast of. But that was all under the PDP. That's the trajectory of PDP. That's the brilliance. That's the excellence. That's the candor that PDP is known for. That's the scintillating performances we have done over the years. So it was just about the accentuation of that performance. That's what the Mbah administration also brought under PDP. It was a consolidation of good performances churned out over the years by other administrations. So this is the story of PDP, and that's why it is so much accepted by the people of the Southeast, as if it runs in their blood. So today that we don't have the governor of the PDP, the judgment of his performance should now be limited to APC. But for all the good things already, we can lay claim to that as people of PDP. We produced the governor, we watched over him, produced the very dividends of democracy, and turned the lives of people.
Very impressive. Very, very. And I do share your sentiments, and I think I agree with you that from 1999 until the tsunami, like you called it, came, PDP has done well. But of course, empires rise and fall. And of course, the PDP in Enugu State witnessed in just the middle of October of this year, witnessed what now you can now the real political tsunami, where the governor, who by every inclination has done well, had decided to leave the party. And he left the party with virtually the entire structure of the PDP. He left the party with members of his ESCOM. He left the party with members of the National Assembly. And so what is left of PDP? That you are not the chairman.
Well, to say that he left the party with everybody is also not true. He didn't live with me.
Yes, because he had
He didn't also live with some of the status quo, members, of course. And then living with the governor is just a matter of statement. We need to also pierce through the consciences and hearts of our people to know whether they indeed left with him. We agree to the fact. We cannot discountenance the fact that the governor has performed excellently. But you cannot also dislodge the fact that some people are so embedded in PDP that they don't want to leave PDP. It does not matter whom they are going to support. At the end of the day, now they love PDP and are standing by the PDP. I know the volume of support I get. I know the vociferous support that people are offering me at the moment. And I know those who are resoundingly standing by this party with claims that they will never leave the party. The party made them. The party provided succor for them when it mattered most in their lives. And they want to stand by the party. Having said this, it is very clear in my mind that the PDP remains the PDP. The PDP will respect the fact and the influence of governors. We respect the voices of the governors as qualitative voices. But it's a struggle between qualitative voices and quantitative voices. The quantitative voices belong to the masses, to the people, to the talakawas, to the serfs, to the plebeians, to the proletariat. That's the quantitative voices. And the last general election showed you that the quantitative voices mattered more than that of the qualitative voices. Without prejudice to the succor they provide, without prejudice to the initial financial aid that the governors can provide and the leaders, so to say, will provide, lies the fact that power indeed belongs to the people. Like my lecturer would say, that it's only when the cow allows you to drive the cow that you can see one man, one Fulani can take 100 cows. When they decide to go the other way, they will chase you. So if the masses decide to stand firm, take actions, decide for the good of the masses, for their own good, you see them standing up. But it has to do with the quality of performance as well. What is under scrutiny at every moment is the quality of governance being churned out. The kind of Nigeria we see today, how much are we going to succeed if we continue with one party system? It is very clear that a party system is being surreptitiously or tacitly imposed on Nigerian people by the center. And it is dangerous for our democracy. And I beg to differ completely. If we have a viable and vibrant opposition, it provides an opening for further scrutiny and helps the administration to even do well. It gives you a mirror. It's a mirror through which you can see yourself. And that mirror provides opportunities for you to redirect the course of governance and make sure that what we have is not a state capture. Take, for instance, it took Donald Trump, the president of America, declaring Nigeria a state under watch and providing pressure on the national government of this country to look the way of security. Despite all the efforts being put by the presidency, it was, of course, surplus, was not enough for the people. But today you can see the speed with which the administration is tackling insecurity because a certain man has spoken from a distant place. That's exactly the place of the opposition. It's a job the opposition should have dispatched. But because we have opposition lying low and being forced to stay quiet in the system, then what do you get? You get absolute silence. You get complicity and complacency. You get a disoriented front, a front that cannot interrogate issues, cannot debate issues, and cannot confront the government.
The governor left, and certain members of the ESCO of the PDP left. You were just the last man standing, so to speak, at the top hierarchy. There could be others that are not, in the public domain, but you remained. And so, naturally, as they would say, the chairmanship fell on you. But there are certain fellows also who said that they constitute what they call the caretaker committee. And they're also jostling for your position. They said they have a chairman, that they were inaugurated. So what do you say to people like that? Are they trying to cause confusion in the PDP? It's actually the constitutional issue in PDP in terms of succession if the chairman is no longer there.
As a matter of fact, let us embellish what the truth is the more. On August 2024, I was elected in the State Congress, conducted in public there, with all television stations being available. And a certain national secretary of the party then, Senator Ayahu, was privy to that Congress and signed. There was no animosity, there was no rancor in the party. The party was having a smooth sail at that point. And I was properly elected in a lawfully conducted Congress of the state. And there was never nobody challenged it. No litigation, no challenge, no public outrage, no side talk, no skirmishes of any kind. And when it was time for the governor to surprisingly leave, in the sense that we had turbulence in the party, I had expected the governor to maybe indicate interest I would be leaving. But the state firm had fought in the party, trying to keep this party intact. So at the point I thought we were winning by, at least marginally, it was the highest level of, it was the rising crescendo of hope that things would change in the party. And at that very point, the governor decided for his own safety and for the good of Enugu people to leave in his own contemplation. At that very point, the natural thing was that if a chairman of the party is resigning, like Dr. Martin Chukwuike did resign, it was automatic that you hand over to the deputy chairman in line with the stipulations of the constitution of the party. Well captured, of course, in section 45(2)-4. And indeed, he handed over. But being a vigilant individual, of course, I dashed to the court seeking protection. And I got an order to protect in that office. In line with that order, I was handed over to become the chairman. Because I went with the secretary from that zone. Of course, we have 3 secretaries from 3 different zones. The secretary from the zone where Honorable Nadoze had resigned from, being the Enugu North Regional Zone, of course, wanted to call with me. And was handed over in line with the dictates of the court, in line with the order of the court. So at that very point, it was clear that I took over the mantle, and Abuja was communicating with me. Everything that was required for the conversion handed over to me in Abuja. From the uniforms to order, I wrote that document. I went to that convention. But shockingly, in the convention at some point, about 4 states were dissolved, were pronounced dissolved, which was a contravention of the law. And of
That
course,
was about the convention.
that was about the convention.
Okay.
But I drew the attention of this fact to Governor Sheyi Maki personally, and the guy. And I made my arguments, they were very clear. And I was told it to be resolved. If you look at what you have today, has it not been resolved? Any party who is interested in the well-being of Nigerian people and provision of plurality of opinion, options for Nigerian people, will not indulge in impunity. So quickly have been restored again. As the chairman of the party and secretary, were restored in Enugu, in furtherance of the law. So having said this, anybody rising as an alternate party in Enugu must belong, the group of persons doing this must belong to that faction whose job is to leave every party dead and cremated while only one party stands in the country in the name of defending the presidency. But it's not true. And I can tell you, the job of their master is finished. Whoever is propelling this, I think the job is finished. The idea was to get all governors dismayed, get them leave the party for the ruling party, get the party weakened at every level, and also to create a kind of an elusive dummy on the side of those who would want to contest under the umbrella of the party in 2027 election. Get them out of the party. Create a semblance of fear so that they will not run and leave the party lying comatose. That's the mission. Having achieved all this, because if you look at the wave of departure on the side of exodus of the governors out of the party, it appears that aim had been achieved. What more are you looking for? Now, it appears that even the leaders of the party are leaving the party, but the owners of the party are taking over the party. The masses are rejuvenating. The masses are galvanizing. The masses are creating a kind of massive support behind the Taminu Taraki-san as the national chairman of the party, to build a party capable of presenting candidates for the election. And the fear of that party is the beginning of every election to come in this country. So that's where we are. So anybody who is trying to orchestrate an alternate system called a party in Enugu is only trying to find the embers of that disunity implanted suspiciously by the ruling party through agencies and agents of their bodies in different parts of the country, including at national level. How can 2 persons or 3 claim to be National Working Committee? Where is it done out of 18? Those whose time had expired in the party are still laying claim to party governance. It is ridiculous, it is criminal, it is unimaginable, and it mangles on logic as much as it belies or credulity. It's highly unacceptable. But let me tell you one thing. The Nigerian people are back. The founding fathers of this party, with this current leadership, have decided to take up the instruments of warfare in terms of creating a vibrant party, sustainable party, robust enough to carry the Nigerian people. And they are doing it. Consultations are going on. They've consulted with IBB. They've consulted with Obasanjo. They are consulting with Nigerian people. And you can see that the man at the helm of the office, talking about the current national chairman of the party, Taminu Taraki-san, has got the gravitas. He has got the capacity. He has got the competencies. He has got the tenacity of will, the character to carry this party. And that is the fear that is enveloping everywhere. So as I talk to you now, the party is stable, it is firm. Those who are understanding to be any other thing other than the party itself are members of a body surreptitiously or tacitly planted by the ruling party to create perhaps what may look like discord. But that time is off. There's always a beginning and end of everything. So I am not interested in business of cynics, traducers, naysayers, and routine hirelings who are just in hot pursuit of dollarization of our politics. What is the issue is the question of dollars being shared in our budget. Who doesn't know this? Right. So that's where we find ourselves. Okay. And I sympathize with the limitations. they have defined what they're doing. It's limited to pecuniary interest. By the way, it is salient to mention that we lost our party via the instrumentality of the weaknesses of the former leaders of this party. Talking about the National Working Committee members. With due respect to the efforts they put in place, they lost their credibility in pursuit of pecuniary interest. The party got capitulated by the reason of self-aggrandizement and allowing capitalist mentality to take over the politics.
Okay, sound arguments. You can fault. Perhaps I may be wrong. Turaki and another group, who controls the party secretariat now? What is the issue in the party secretariat?
Let me tell you something. The party secretariat is not the party. The working committee, the NEC, the BOT, they remain the party. They can sit anywhere and condone the party affairs. The party secretariat is in the capital territory. And somebody is in charge of the capital territory. And we are, the fight is against principalities and powers in high places. So we are not deceived by the blockade we find there. The party is progressing. The party can get in another office. The party has options. We have to see. And the party is flourishing to the dismay of the opponents.
Okay. But we'll just take a short break. When we come back, we want to talk about, particularly Enugu State, how far what you are doing to mobilize the people who you say remain silent, wanting to have a directional leadership. Producing somebody who will run for governorship in 2027 is very, very critical. Or even a leader who stands to say, Steve, I want to hold your hands. We can run this race together. So don't go anywhere. We're back shortly.
Not everything makes it into the headlines, but we bring you the full story. Join Uchenna Cyril Anyoke, a renowned media personality and former president of the Nigerian Publishers Association, as he unpacks the real issues behind the news. From politics to public policy, economy to human rights, nothing is off limits. Expert guest, in-depth conversation, local and global perspective. New episode every week on Facebook and YouTube. Watch now on Freedom Square TV. Follow for updates and behind the scenes clips. Beyond the headlines, beyond the news.
Welcome back, and you are still watching Beyond the Headlines on Freedom Square TV. Still reaching you from Enugu, and my guest is still Mr. Steve Aurora, Chairman PDP Enugu State. Mr. Chairman, you've established ownership, as it were. You've also established that party governance, party leadership is not necessarily about a structure, it's about building. Anybody can take the physical structure of the building, but the will of the people, the National Working Committee, the BOT, cannot be taken. And so let's get back to Enugu State, because this is the core. People believe, or many people think, or they assume that with the exit of His Excellency Peter Mba, the PDP had come crushed. But what you said, people are now hopeful that all is not lost. So I ask you, what basic reforms, strategies, or ideological shifts do you believe are necessary for PDP to remain relevant in Enugu State?
Well, I will push this question further. I will want to interrogate your question at a higher pedestal now. The Nigerian problem lies so much on the side of the political class. Have allowed impunity, absolutism, sheer brigandage, and of course issues that border on chauvinistic tendencies to hijack the polity. We live in a situation and an enclave where there are no consequences for certain offenses in this country. And the political class capitalize on that to do whatever thing they want to do and get away with it. So indeed, we need regulators. And in this circumstance, what are the regulators? The constitution of the country, the judicial system, the electoral system, and of course, the let's say the defense system, talking about those who are involved in keeping laws, maintaining laws and laws. But the question is, who are these people working? Are they working for the Nigerian people? Are they working for the government of the day in a John Dines politics? So this question should be answered by those I called. So there should be a reawakening. There should be a challenge on the part of the Nigerian people in every position where we have found ourselves to defend the frontiers of democracy and defend ordinary people. So we are not worried about what PDP will do. We are worried about what the regulators will do. If they get it right, those on the demand side, being the ordinary people, being the plebeians, being the serfs, being those who are on the base of the food chain, being those who are confronting the oppressors in the daily dance of life, where are they? What are they going to do? I call them people on the demand side. So if they keep knocking on the doors and demanding good governance and demanding change, you can see that they have the numbers. You can see that they are in the majority. You can see that the people. You can see they are looking for an alternate party, which is the PDP. PDP is the only party that has they have all party offices in every ward in this country. APC cannot even boast of having all offices in different wards of this country. I stand to be corrected. It might look sweet at the moment, but it's very obvious APC will have implosion after 2027. I have not seen a situation where everybody will tilt into one party. But the Nigerian consciousness of good governance should gravitate to the will of the majority. The will of the majority is where PDP is standing. And is standing strong and standing indirectly inviting everybody to come together in one party. Look at what is happening to the Labour Party. Where is Labour Party today? Decimated and almost cremated. Where is ADC? Almost in tatters as well. A brand new party that is already in trouble. Who is orchestrating all these troubles? It is PDP that is defiant. It is PDP that is strong. It is PDP that has the mentality to resist the monopolistic tendencies of the bourgeois, of the traducers, of those on the top of the food chain, of the oppressors of the common man. PDP is the only party that can stand the true trial. And I'm sure that the national chairman of this party, Tamini Turaki, can navigate this party out of the murky waters, can navigate this party away from the public traps. So in Enugu here, the strategy is simple. Leave the party open for the people to come. First step. Second step, conduct transparent, fair, and very sincere primaries of the party at every level, making sure that whoever wins should win. Do not gravitate to the yearnings of only the big men, the so-called big men in the politics. Allow the ordinary people to take over their party and allow the youth to come in. We must be deliberate about allowing women and youth to come in into the system. You will see the revolt. You will see the determination of the people. You will see an amalgam of people's interest in one basket. And it can only be propelled by a party that is not under the whims and caprices of an individual. This is this party for you, the PDP. So we have left it open. Our credibility is also under trial in the process. So work as hard as we can to make sure that this party gets rejuvenated. Having said this, it is also very important that at the time moments, we do not allow pecuniary interest that left our party wounded at national level to also happen at the state level. We work hard, put everything in place to ensure that our people are happy, to ensure that this party is for the people, to ensure that in every place that APC puts a candidate that people do not want, let our candidate be the wanted candidate. There's no other way to win an election. And if we distance ourselves from the fact that the governor of the state is doing well here, then we are making a huge mistake. We must accept the fact that the governor is doing creditably well. We must accept the fact that the governor is performing in a proficient and magnificent manner. What does he produce? It introduces carefulness, vigilance. It's a challenge that we must find candidates and in that mode, candidates capable of outwitting him, outfoxing him in terms of intellectual capacity. Anything to the contrary will be the beginning of a dissolution of a party that had held sway for so long in Enugu. We must be willing to match the governor bomber to bomber in terms of intellectualism, in terms of width, in terms of 21st century performance, and in terms of willingness to embrace heavy projects that should overturn and navigate the thinking of our politics in the Southeast.
Okay, Professor Aurora, sounding like a professor like you called me at the beginning of this program. So I don't know whether you are the professor now. I'm asking the last question. That last question is quite pregnant. It depends on how you want to take it. What message, the world that watching you and are listening to you, what message would you like to pass to PDP members, the people of Enugu State, regarding the future of PDP in Enugu State?
I want to start by saying that I want my Enugu people, Nigerians, to realize that Nigeria is sitting on a keg of gunpowder. To realize that we have an existential threat on our democracy. And the candle of it is the PDP. I want them to realize that a certain group of people have come in furtherance of the will of the ruling party to make sure we have a one-party system. And they're not working for the ruling party. They are working, disguising in the name of PDP. Any people should be vigilant, they should be watchful. Do not fall into the trap of those who are surreptitiously or tacitly planted by the opposition party to masquerade as PDP. The judgment of the court is very clear on this. And anybody who is going contrary to that judgment is in contempt of court. Having said that, let us mobilize our consciousness as the ordinary people. Let the civil servants, the talakawas, the very poor, the serfs, the plebeians, people that had suffered under the watch of this democracy, some people that have watched as the democracy got eviscerated over the years, as democracy got decimated and pummeled to silence. It is a window for you to capitalize and make your voices heard. If Labour Party from nowhere could do it the last time, PDP here can do it many times. So it's a wake-up call, it's a clarion call. Instead of being despondent that things are not moving exactly the way you want, be courageous, be bold. Be boldened by the fact that there's a credible alternative that PDP is offering you. It's going to be a tall order. Like I reiterate, the fact that the governor of the state under the PDP has done excellently well. Let us watch him under APC. But I can tell you, the same PDP that created the quality of governance that we have seen in the last 2 years can recreate it.
I think this is a very beautiful point to leave you and leave the conversation. So what we do is just to thank you very much, Barrister Stephen Aurora, Enugu State Chairman of the People Democratic Party, PDP, for sharing your insight with us. It was quite an exciting moment with you, and we do sincerely hope that when next we call on you, please do not fail to respond. Because, like you said, these are challenging times. So, in a week, in a two, there are the issues that need your further insights. And so, to our viewers, I want to thank you for staying with us. Remember, political parties are vehicles of democracy, but it's the people who decide the direction. And so, you can follow us after this, continue the conversation on Facebook or YouTube, and that is at Freedom Square TV. Join us again tomorrow for yet another bumper edition of Beyond Headlines. Thank you and remain blessed.